So a few years ago, I had the opportunity to go shark diving. And I gotta tell you guys, while I was down there in the water, sharks swimming around, I learned a very, very, very valuable lesson. And I wanna share it with you guys today. I believe it's our responsibility as men to do better every day, to learn from our mistakes, grow through our failures, and work to become the best that we can be. So a few years ago, I decided I wanted to go do a shark dive. So I got online, did some research, and I found out that there's an island off the coast of Mexico called Guadalupe. And ironically, Guadalupe Island is where a lot of Shark Week is filmed. There's tons of great white sharks there. And they do excursions from San Diego to Guadalupe Island. You get on a boat, you cruise out there. It's about 30 hours, so you have to actually sleep on the boat. And I signed up for one of these trips. I figured, why not? Let's try it out. So I get on the boat in San Diego, we cruise out to Guadalupe Island, and we get there. And what they do is they get a big tuna head, and they like tie a rope through the tuna head and they throw it off the back of the boat. And so there's a tuna head off the back of both sides of the boat. And then they have the big cages that they like put in the water off the back of the boat as well. And you just jump in the cage. And after a while, the hope is the tuna heads bait the sharks and the sharks come in and you get to see great white sharks. It's a super cool experience. So I'm there. It's my turn to get into the cage. So I get down into the cage and I've got, an oxygen regulator and I'm sitting there and I'm just like hanging out. I'm like, where are the freaking sharks at? And before long, great white sharks start swimming around the boat. It was really, really cool experience. And there's this one shark, he was probably 12 or 13 feet long, and he had this big scar across his face. Don't know what had happened to him, but he had this big scar, so he was really identifiable amongst the other sharks. And there was a moment where there was no other sharks around except this one dude with the scar. We'll call him Scarface. And there's the two tuna heads that are hanging out on the back of the boat. Now, the guys that are running the trip, they told us that they don't want to feed the sharks. They're just using the heads to bait them in. So every time a shark goes to like grab the head, they pull the rope and jerk it out of the way. Okay, so I'm sitting in the cage and I'm watching Scarface and he's swimming around. He's like being curious. He's investigating what's going on. And then he decides to make a run at the tuna head. And so he comes in really, really aggressively towards the tuna head and they pull it out of the way and he gets kind of startled and he swims away. And I'm hanging out a couple minutes later, all of a sudden you see Scarface again. Now he's coming in from the other angle, coming in real fast, going for the tuna head. They yank it out of the way. He doesn't get it. He gets kind of startled, swims off. I'm watching where's Scarface at? What's going to happen? Next thing I know, he's coming straight at the boat from the back, literally coming straight at me towards the tuna head. And he gets ready to grab the tuna head. He opens his mouth and they yank it out of the way. And he gets startled and swims off. And I'm sitting here this dude is relentless. He came in from the right, didn't get it. He came in from the left, didn't get it. He literally came straight on at me, didn't get it. And now I'm like, where's freaking Scarface? What's going to happen next? And I don't see him. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this motherfucker comes up from underneath the boat, literally right in front of the cage, wham, grabs the freaking tuna head, rips it off the rope, and swims away. Now he got it because he came from underneath the boat. The guys on top couldn't see it, and they couldn't pull it out of the way fast enough. I was fascinated by this because this dude, again, he was relentless. And not only was he relentless, but he was trying and learning, coming from different approaches and trying to get his goal. And I'll never forget, brothers, I share this with you because I was sitting in that cage in the middle of freaking the ocean, watching great white sharks swim around me, and I thought to myself, God dang, I need to be like this freaking Scarface sometimes. Sometimes in life, I need to be a fucking shark. And what I mean by that is, as men, there's moments and times in our lives where we need to be relentless. We need to go after whatever it is, that freaking tuna head that we're trying to grab onto with every ounce of our soul. And when the first time doesn't work, we have to go after it in a different way and a different way. And you continue to keep failing over and over and over again until you grab on to whatever that goal is that you're searching for, that you're striving after. You know, in this example, Scarface, he was bound and determined to get that tuna head. And he was coming from multiple angles. And I just really believe there's moments in life like this one that there's so much beauty and there's so much opportunity to learn from them. And I love these moments in life where we can get little lessons and little reminders. And I've often thought to myself, you need to be like Scarface. You need to be that fucking shark and never, ever, ever give up. Now, in our society, being a shark kind of has a negative connotation, right? So I'm not implying that you need to be ruthless or mean or disrespectful. I think you should never do anything that compromises your values. As men, we should always come from a place of love and respect. But sometimes we got to be fucking relentless in our pursuit. Sometimes we got to just go straight savage on whatever our goals are, whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. I'll leave you guys with this. As you know, I've spent a lot of time with Tony Robbins. And one of the things that he says is if you want to take the island, whatever your goal is, let's call it a metaphorical island. If you want to take the island, you got to burn your motherfucking boats. Burn the boats, no option B, no option C. You've got one option and you go after it with all your heart and soul. So brothers, today, I challenge you to get clear on what you want and to be that motherfucking shark and to go after it with all your heart and soul. I'll leave you guys with this. Again, from Tony, he says, the only thing separating anyone, the only thing separating those that are failures, those that do nothing in life, those that just barely get by, and those that have massive, massive, massive success is their desire, their hunger, their relentlessness. So whatever you want, be relentless in your pursuit. And I guarantee you, eventually, if you change your approach like Scarface did and you try new angles and approaches and strategies, guarantee you'll get there. I'll see you guys next week.